Sports Car Club of America. And here at Reno, over 41 of these remarkable machines will take to the track for the 1997 season finale for the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series next on Speed Vision. Throughout 1997, the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series has quite literally been a knockdown, drag-out affair. And as we get to the final round here at the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton, 3 drivers are separated by only 7 points. It's that close. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Kramer, and Robert Mumm is currently the point leader. But, Robert, it's only by 6. Your wins came earlier in the season. You've tailed off a little bit in the win column. What's happened?
Well, we've actually run well, but we had some problems. Last race, Pike Peak, we got knocked off first lap, put us way back in the pack, and we were lucky to salvage a 4th place finish out of that. It's going to be a dogfight here. We all have our best equipment in for this race. We realize how important this is to all of us. So it's going to be quite a race and quite a battle for the championship here this weekend at Reno.
Well, and with a points battle that intense, the stories are fascinating. And for more on those, let's check in with our pit reporter, Bobby Gerald, and David Hobbs, who filed these stories a little earlier.
The number 28, driven by Warren Stillwell to his 4th in a row SCCA National Championship at the runoffs just a few weeks ago here on Speed Vision. But today he has a different challenge. He's lying 2nd in the championship, but he's only 2 points ahead of Keith Scharf, who's 3rd. Now, Warren got off to a dodgy start, but you have been winning all the races lately, Warren. Can you win this final race and take the championship?
Well, I certainly hope that so. I think it's in the cards. We did get off to a bad start, and I've been playing catch-up all season long, and this is a final race, and this is the only one that I got to win as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he's dead right. This is the one that's going to count. Now let's go to the 3rd member of our team, Bob Gerald.
David, right behind Mumm and Stillwell is Keith Scharf, the driver of the Valvoline number 6. He sits 7 points behind the leader in the point standings and only 1 point behind Warren Stillwell. And Keith Scharf won this event last year here at Reno. Keith, being that you are the 3rd in the chase for the title, how aggressive do you have to be today?
Well, you have to be fairly aggressive. I have to stay in contact with those 2 guys, but this is all concrete and anything can happen. Yesterday in qualifying, all 3 of us were into the wall at 1 point, and that can happen early, that can happen late in the race, so it's probably more important to be there for the finish than be a little too over-aggressive early on.
Well put.
And the field, as you can see, underway. The pace lap has begun here for Spec Racer Ford Pro Series action, the season finale, as we have talked about. Now, you heard Keith Scharf talking about being aggressive. There's the starting grid. The real thing to key in on here is that Scharf and Mumm are back in the order just a little bit. No question, they have their work cut out for them, David.
They certainly do, especially on these tight streets here of Reno. It's extremely tight and twisty here, and there's no room for error at all. Walls both sides, so these drivers have got it. It's a very big field, as you can see, 38 starters, so it's very easy to get caught up in traffic big time. And even though the lap times are very close together, they will get into lap traffic before this race is over.
All right, and let's take a look at the track itself. You were talking about very busy. These smart cars are small and agile. They might work well here.
Well, they will work very well here, but it's only 1¼ miles round. It's 35 laps, and as you can see, from turn 1 to 6, it's incredibly twisty. Turn 6 down to 7, we're going to see some outbraking into 7, and we'll see a lot of outbraking into turn 2 around that very tricky turn 1, which follows the start-finish straight.
All right, in the field now, making their way through that final turn, turn number 11, that leads them on to that very long front straight. We anticipate the green flag in the start of 35 laps, once again, of Spec Racer Ford Pro Series season finale action. There's 28 Warren Stillwell inside front row. A very quick time, 1:10.5, 64.8 miles an hour average speed, and he rolls onto the throttle. We are green, and look at the size of that pack, and down to the inside, some actually the outside 17, John Black, who started a little bit further back, trying an outside move. Not going to happen. And Mumm hangs on, or excuse me, Stillwell hangs on. But you can see Mumm, he's already buried back in that pack just a little bit.
Keith Scharf had a coming together there, but it was a pretty light tap as they went through this very tight turn 2, hairpin 180 degrees. Up to that turn 3, a quick right-left sweep. And then, of course, they come up to the front door of the hotel, go under the carport entrance there, normally everyday life. Warren Stillwell, of course, has snagged the lead from John Black.
there they are, moving up into fourth. You can see 61 Chris Funk taking a run, and here are the other two players in the championship battle. The black number 10 of Mum and the number 6 of Scharf, the Valvoline machine. And those two sitting back right now in the 5th and 6th position. And once again, Mum 6 points behind. Excuse me, Mum leads with Stillwell 6 points behind. Scharf only 1 point behind Stillwell. And those two, there's number 10 Mum, there is number 6 Scharf right behind. It's the battle for 5th and 6th. And we're seeing the top 4 already starting to draw away from them, David.
It's the battle for 5th and 6th, but it's really the battle for the championship, because as we say, Robert Mum leads this championship by 6 points from Stillwell. Stillwell's leading the race at the moment. If Stillwell was to win now, he would take the championship. Here goes Scharf around the outside of Mum. So a bit of a tough call on that turn 2, though, because you can get squeezed out to the wall.
Well, I would think every time you try that big outside move, you have the door open essentially for somebody behind to make a big move, and that might be number 0, Mike Buck, who's right behind them. So while Scharf wants to be aggressive and go after Mum, he can't just let that door swing too wide open for somebody to walk through and take a spot away from him.
So here you see Black in the 17 car following Warren Stillwell in that 28, just winner just 2 or 3 weeks ago of the national championship.
So right now, Stillwell continues to lead, doing exactly what he needs to do. There's the top 5 after 1 of 35 laps here at Reno.
Is that big clip causing stale chips? Is freezer burn making your stomach turn? Then you need EuroSealer, the amazing new sealer that creates an airtight seal that locks in freshness, so food lasts longer. Simply slide EuroSealer along the edge of any bag, and it's sealed airtight. It's that easy. Every time you open it, food tastes like it just came fresh from the store. Once, twice, every time. The secret is EuroSealer's microthermal technology that creates a seal so airtight even water won't leak. Amazing! Don't waste money on spoiled food. Don't waste money on spilled food. Use what you need and seal up the rest. EuroSealer keeps cereal crunchy, chips crispy, vegetables fresh, and deli meat as delicious as the day it was sliced. Look, 1 week later, salad stored with a twist-tie bag is brown and slimy, but salad sealed with EuroSealer is green and fresh. With EuroSealer, you'll save a bundle buying bulk at warehouse clubs. And look, its magnetic surface attaches easily to the refrigerator. Use it outdoors. It seals the heaviest bag airtight. Keep bottles from leaking when you travel, and more. This huge sealer costs $229, and you have to buy the bags. But now on this exclusive TV offer, you can get the amazing EuroSealer for only $19.95. Call within the next 10 minutes and get EuroCan at no additional charge. EuroCan leaves edges incredibly smooth. You can even reapply the lid. Imagine, you get EuroSealer and EuroCan, a $40 value, all for only $19.95. Not available in stores, so don't delay. Seal the deal and order EuroSealer today.
To order the EuroSealer and receive the EuroCan absolutely free, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-609-6006 or send check or money order to the address on your screen. Ask your operator how you can get the AC adapter jack so that you'll never have to use batteries again. Order yours. Call now. That's 1-800-609-6006.
Welcome back to Reno, everybody, and there's your race leader, Warren Stillwell, already starting to draw away a little back from his pursuers. That's number 17, Black, and 74 is Frank, and there's a bit of a problem. The corner worker going out on track. That was number 23, John Bowden, worker trying to clean the track up before the pack comes through. Let's check into the pits with Bob Jarrow. Bob?
Well, take a look at John Strickler. Obviously, there's been a little contact out on the raceway between the front of number 22 and something, because that is a whole lot of damage. John is just now unbuckling, and that's going to be the ball game for John Strickler from Kansas City, Kansas. He was one of the guys that started 19th on the grid today.
Oh, and Bob and Dave, whenever one of these very sturdy cars like that takes that kind of hit, that was, I mean, they're sturdy. That was a big hit. Meanwhile, Stillwell starting to draw away once again just a little bit over number 71, Neil Brown. And he has moved around number 17, John Black. So that's scrap for second. A good one. And joining it right there is number 61, Chris Funk, who's awfully quick in these type of cars as well.
That's actually number 74. That's Peter Frank, who's taken second away from Black in the 17 car. Black qualified on the front row of the grid. As you say, Funk is right behind Black now. So this is a very tight battle for second, third, and fourth there. which of course is great for Stillwell up at the front, because he doesn't have to worry about these guys while they're duking out there. They're slowing each other up down to that hairpin. I said there'd be some outbraking into this corner. Ooh, Black just pulls that off, tries to squeeze the 74 car up, then the 74 takes it back in the next left-hander. That's just how close these cars are.
Well, they were side by side through those two corners, and it just worked out for Peter Frank. He was in the right spot. And again, you can see 61 Funk. But look at this battle. That is Robert Mumm and Sharp. Sharp was up alongside Mumm about a half a lap back. He's back into the draft a little bit here, but he wants to try something here. And he's still there. It's turn 11. And Mumm, obviously, the motor in Mumm's car pretty strong, and Sharp not able to try anything. Meanwhile, there's 74 Frank and 17 Black. There is Mumm. Oh, Sharp gets it all sideways as he dive bombed down the inside, David.
Dive bomb down the inside, but he's going to come off this corner slower, so Mumm's going to get... No, Mumm lost momentum there, coming off, tried to make the outside pass. That didn't work, so Scarf pulled around Robert Mumm, and now that's put Robert Mumm back into the clutches of Bob Boudinot from Fishkill, New York in the 3 car. This is having one of his better runs of the year.
Right behind him, the yellow car is Mike Buck, so even with some change in positions, it is still a very fraught battle. And look at that, traffic took away that margin that 28 Stillwell had built up. And meanwhile, Sharp finds that car in just the wrong spot. Let's go back to the pass, David, and Sharp almost lost it trying this move.
Wow, Sharp did get it locked up there as he pulled out to pull the inside of Robert Mumm there. Just got the thing a little bit tail happy, thought he'd lost momentum, but he has the right line for the coming right-hander. And Robert Mumm can't do anything around it, but Bob Boudinot right behind now in the number 3 car.
And once again, now we can see Sharp has opened up the margin over Mumm and Boudinot as they go around the lap car now. Number 37, Jeff Whitwer with all the damage. And here we go, 17 Black once again tries to get to the inside of Frank, and Frank just shut the door.
This is going through that turn 1. It's a very tricky little left-hander there. It's a quick approach. You're braking through there. Then as you exit, you have to brake really hard for that turn 2 hairpin. So it's not an easy track, that, and there's no runoff area on the outside. We've already seen a lot of instances of that turn today, this weekend. Let's hope we don't see more. Let's go down and talk to Bobby in the pits again. Bob?
Mark Funk, who is the crew chief on headsets with Keith Sharp. He said that Keith not saying too much on the radios right now, but he's locked in a good battle with Robert Mumm.
He's gotten ahead of Mumm now, and we're holding. He can, we're hoping he can keep that hold on him. It's looking pretty decent for him now. We got Chris is right in front of him. Hopefully they'll get together and work together a little bit to try and catch the front leaders right now.
How aggressive in your mind do you think Keith has to be today?
He's got to be real fast. He's got to be doing everything he can do out there. With Warren out in front, if Keith can get up there close, finish 2nd or 3rd, he's still got a shot in the points, but it's going to take some running.
All right, he's got a shot. He's got his elbows up and the hammer down.
Well, Keith Sharp, of course, has got to beat Warren Stillwell, so it's no good him coming a real close 2nd to Warren Stillwell. And, of course, Robert Mumm, if he hangs there in the top 3, is still going to be a threat for the championship. But Keith Sharp, this guy here, the number 6, has got to beat Warren Stillwell in the 28 car, who's currently leading the race. So Sharp's work really cut out for him.
Well, what's not helping him is there's 3 cars in between he and Stillwell that are waging a pretty intense war for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And it's really helping Stillwell get away, but Sharp has caught that battle in front of him. The question is now he's got to be able to work his way through it, as we have 6 of 35 laps here completed at the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton.
Time is running out for you to get the most bone-shattering crash video ever made. The Crash Experience, the ultimate extreme in crash action. Yours for a limited time only through this exclusive TV offer. But wait, order now, you'll also receive absolutely free Crush This, the most awesome collection of monster truck destruction ever. That's right, both videos for the price of one, just $19.88. And there's more.
Yeah.
Call within the next 30 minutes. We'll include a 3rd video. Bad Boats, absolutely free. It's drag boat devastation like you've never seen. There it is, 3 action-packed videos for the price of one, a $60 value. Yours for the next 30 minutes, just $19.88. Time is running out. Have your credit card ready? Call 1-800-247-4700 or send check or money order to the address on the screen. Order yours today. Call 1-800-247-4700. Order now.
Well, a guy just told me I gotta have this ready in 52 seconds. Maybe that's why they call it speed vision.
Catch Bruce Dern on Speed Vision's Lost Drive-In every Saturday night at 11 Eastern at midnight Pacific.
If watching the race on TV just isn't good enough anymore, and what you're really looking for is a little excitement on your weekends, then maybe it's time you discovered racing the SCCA way. The Sports Car Club of America is your ticket to the pit lane and the fast lane. If you'd like SCCA membership information, call this toll-free number, 1-800-972-6662.
Welcome back to the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton, and as you can see, people think it's desert here. Not necessarily true. It's absolutely beautiful. There's our host for the weekend, the Reno Hilton. It is the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton, the season finale for the Spec Racer Ford Pro Series machinery, and a points championship on the line, no question. We should mention these cars are absolutely identical, so there's no advantage in terms of throwing money at the car, in terms of aerodynamic development or engine. It's a matter of getting it dialed in and driving it hard. And sometimes things happen. We've got an incident on the track, obviously. We are full course yellow at this point, David. And that looks like the turn 1 area once again.
It's turn 1, all right. Is that the 74 car?
Well, let's take a look at what happened. The driver obviously unbuckling, getting out. Here we go. Watch how it happens here. Looks good at this point.
Yeah, so the 17 car goes down the inside. So I thought it was the 74 car that was in the barrier there. Rams the barrier backwards.
David, that was the battle for second place that we've been calling here. Watch this one. Again, the tires doing their job. They're well placed, but it also caught out number 17, John Black. So essentially second and third have had their problems.
Oh, that's Keith Schaff. Keith Schaff hit that tire.
That's number 15, actually, but came upon that accident at the wrong time. As a matter of fact, with that accident now, Schaff has moved into second spot. Funk third now. And obviously, that has jumbled the order quite a bit. And there is the damage. The tires have been moved off the wall. They're doing the job. And one thing that we've heard about, David, is this weekend drivers who were here last year said that some of the exit area of the corner has been lessened in terms of space because of the placement of tires in areas that they know were going to be problematic. Looks like turn 1 is exactly one of those.
Well, that was a 74 car there that got caught out there. That was a pretty brave move there.
And there we were just talking about it, number 6 Sharp right behind Stillwell in second. Obviously, when they got to that incident scene, 61 Funk got out of it a little bit, and Sharp was able to sneak by him before the full course yellow came out. So boy, things changing here in a hurry. Remember, these two in the order, David, Stillwell leading the race with Sharp right behind him, are 6 and 7 points behind Mum respectively, and Mum now has moved up into 5th. So this is getting very interesting in terms of the championship battle right now.
The 17 car that was involved in the 74 car. The 17 car, John Black, he went down the inside, and the 74 car tried to take his line back, but it was too late. The 17 car was already in, and he tried that a number of times. The 74 car probably shouldn't have given him the room that he did in the end. But of course, the really exciting thing is that the number 6 car, Keith Schaff, who qualified very poorly on Friday, then picked up a bit of time for the final qualifying, but he was still way back in the field. There's the driver. He's okay.
That's Peter Frank, and obviously he's all right, and that is the most important piece of news. Let's take a look at it again. It looked like Black was along the inside at this stage.
Black tries to come down the inside, and Frank starts to take his line. Of course, Black is already there. It's pretty much, well, obviously Peter Frank is slightly ahead, but he should have given more room. He knew the car was going to be on the inside of him there. He should have given it more room. Then he could have gone around there side by side, and then it would have just been a case about breaking each other. And there goes Keith Schaff round Funk as we're watching him back into the wall there. You saw Keith Schaff take that position away from Funk.
Well, here's what happened. There it is. And Sharp had already ducked underneath Funk at that point. So he may have thought, well, if Black can do it, I'm going to give it a try. And it worked there. But again, number 74, Peter Frank, ending up in the tires. And the crew's already getting the tires back and barricaded and connected up to that wall. And there's the running order. It's Stillwell, and it's Sharp with Funk in third. So again, let's take a look at the top 10 as we have completed 9 of 35 laps here for Spec Racer Ford Pro Series action at the Reno Hilton. There's 6th through 10th. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton here in Reno, Nevada. An absolutely glorious day for racing, and glorious racing we have got. We are under yellow right now, and there is your leader, Warren Stillwell, and he is well placed at this stage. There's number 6, Keith Scharf, then 61 Funk, 17 Black, and there is your points leader, number 10, Robert Mumm. And again, he started back in the order just a little bit, but he finds himself in 5th place right now, just sort of settling in. And let's check into the pits with Bob Gerald. Bob?
And Barry Mumm, Greg, is the brother of Robert Mumm, and he's down here on headset with Robert during the race. Right now in 5th position. Where do you guys need to be to wrap up this championship?
Well, no matter what happens, if we finish second, we win. And so that's what we're really hoping for. Obviously, a win would be nice, though.
I saw you communicating with him just a moment ago. What's he saying?
He's saying the car's right there. He's waiting. We got 23 laps to go yet. There's plenty of time. You'll see him move up.
All right. Patience is something you have to have here on the temporary street circuits.
Well, and again, Barry Mumm and Robert Mumm, the Mumm brothers' excellent adventure. They often refer to that. They have a lot of fun doing this. The thing, David, is with him in 5th, is there any chance that he's going to be able to move up and challenge for a win or even second at this stage?
The way Keith Scharf is going, I would say that him coming second at the moment is going to be a bit of a long shot. Stillwell, of course, has led from the drop of the flag, was on the pole. Keith Scharf has made a magnificent job of pulling up from where he was on the grid into that second. Did a great bit of overtaking there on Chris Funk when that crash happened in front of him. So Keith Scharf looks very strong to me.
Very smart and aggressive drive. Here's why we're under caution. And there's the move, 17 Black, and it's 74 Frank on the outside, and they get into it here.
They get into it, and look at this. There's Chris Funk. He has to give up a bit, and Scharf just nudges him. He goes down the inside into that tight turn 2. Here's that tire rolling out that gets that 15 car. So Scharf now looking very strong, and of course Mumm has got to somehow get up into that second position. It's going to be tough going for him.
All right, we're watching the field as they head out of turn 10 toward turn 11, anticipating a restart, which will complete our 12th of 35 laps as we get back to it. And Warren Stillwell, boy, Scharf timed it very well. It looked like for a minute was able to get a little bit of a run, but Stillwell jumps on the hammer. We are back to green. David, they're heading down into turn number 1, and it looked like Scharf, a little bit different line, was able to close up a little bit and is right on that rear deck of Stillwell.
Trying to make that corner a bit less sharp. They're going for that wide line in. Is Keith Scharf in the 6th car, but Stillwell hangs on to the lead. Stillwell, of course, tremendously good in these cars. But as you can see, the road just moves all the time. Tremendous amount of dynamic requirement here. The weight shift on these cars all the time, left, right, left. And it's a great rhythm track for the driver to get into a good rhythm through those twisty bits. Now this long corner here, of course, such a big temptation to outbrake yourself in there and slow yourself up through the corner. Much better to come out of it quick, give you some speed through these next 3 left-handers.
Now, of course, these 2 lead drivers right now, depending upon where they finish and how the points pay out, it could decide a championship. So what's the aggression level we're going to see from both of these drivers?
Well, I would say we're going to see a lot of aggression from these 2 drivers, quite honestly. And of course, John Black is only just behind Chris Funk in the 61 car. There's the 7. There's Robert Mumm, the guy, of course, who's got most to lose of all. He needs to get up with that front quartet if he's got any chance of salvaging this championship, which he currently leads coming into this race by 6 points over Stillwell. But if the race was finished now, Mumm would not win this championship.
That's a good look at number 10, Robert Mumm, as he continues to circulate in that 5th spot just in front of number 3, Bob Boudinot, and number 0 again is Mike Buck. So it's not as though he has a fair margin up to the group, as you mentioned, up in 4th, but he's got some serious company right behind that he's got to worry about a bit.
Well, he's got to worry about them big time, because if one of them slips around, and that just blackens his picture even more. So Stillwell, of course, hanging on to that lead. Now, of course, Keith Scharf obviously does not want Chris Funk to get around him either, because that's going to jeopardize his point standing badly. So everybody here's got a lot of pressure, both at the front and the back.
Well, and Chris Funk would just love to be able to get by both these guys and just win this thing, and that would tighten the point scramble up.
He doesn't care about the championship anyway.
I don't think he cares much, although I believe that it's his brother that helps out with Keith Scharf's team, so they're probably thinking about that just a little bit. Now, let's go back. There's number 10, Mumm, sitting in 5th, then 3, Boudinot, then 0 is Buck, and that's 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then you can see a scrap behind them yet. But again, Mumm has finally been able to get 2-3 car lengths over the gentleman chasing him, number 3, Boudinot, but it goes away under braking. Boudinot and number 0, Buck, look pretty strong.
They're looking very strong, but I think Mumm is pulling away from them slowly but surely. But is he pulling up onto the back of Black in the 17 car? I'm not sure that he is.
Well, it doesn't look like there's any significant change in that gap, but this battle right here for 6th and 7th, as Mumm has in fact cleared those two a little bit, but the battle for 6th and 7th between Boudinot and Buck continues to be very solid as they go out of picture. There's number 15. That's Lee Fleming, and again, he was the driver, David, that picked up that errant tire in that incident, and he's got some serious damage to the bodywork.
Terribly unfortunate for him to just happen to nail that tire. He had nowhere to go, and he obviously was unsighted because of all the other traffic. Couldn't see the tire rolling out, and it just rolled inexorably right into his path and tore that right front fender up, which of course upsets the aerodynamics, and of course just makes the whole car less drivable. And these cars, as you said, are so evenly matched. The bodywork's all exactly the same, the chassis are all exactly the same, the engine's the same, the transmissions, the tires. This is real spec racing, and of course it really is down to the driver.
Good look there, number 55, Barney Moan, who's in a big battle with this gentleman, number 77, John Marigi, and they're having a good scrap right there, and you can see Marigi's not exactly clear of everybody behind him. It doesn't matter where you are, the battling is intense. That's the one for 9th. Moan's 9th, there's 77, Marigi in 10th, then 68, Capaldi in 11th. And in 12th there, it's number 7, Ringkemper. So again, this is a big scrap that these 4 drivers are embroiled in as well. And that's the nature of this type of a car. Being it's a spec car, you tend to find somebody that you as well as the car combined end up lapping at about the same speeds and get in some great racing. That's why this category of racing has been so very, very popular, not just in the pro ranks, but in the club ranks as well. Over 700 Spec Racer Fords exist in the United States, and you can start in amateur racing and take the same car right into the pro ranks, but then you have to race against a Stillwell, a Sharp, and the rest of the group in the top 10. We'll be back. Pretty intense as Funk within a car length as they work through that crucial turn number 7, and right back there is still number 17 Black, hardly out of it.
John Black is losing just a little bit to Chris Funk, and John and Robert Mumm seems to have disappeared from our picture. He's not as close as he was. He was just about that far behind. Now he seems to have dropped back a little bit, so this is not doing Robert Mumm's championship hopes a lot of good. He in fact trails our leader now by 6 1/4 seconds, so losing ground slowly but steadily to Stillwell.
Now again, you see that number 6 Sharp and number 61 Funk, they really aren't doing a whole lot of racing. You don't see Funk really making some big moves. There might just be a reason for that, and I think Bob Sherrill might have the answer. Bobby?
That's right. There's a very good reason. Now, Mark Funk is the crew chief for both cars, Keith Sharp and Chris Funk. He's Chris's brother. They're all buddies. You guys all race together, and you knew going into this today that's very important for Keith to do as well as he can. Are there any team orders?
Yeah, the only thing is now that they're both running 2nd and 3rd like this, maybe they can hook up and try and draft a little bit. That'll help them stay with Warren. And all we can do now is just hope that Keith can get in Warren's mirrors enough to shake him up just a little bit and make him do something wrong.
All right, so that's the situation from down here. Mark Funk keeping an eye on both of them.
Well, obviously, Keith Sharp does not want, obviously, Chris Funk to get around him. But the fact does remain that if Keith Sharp wants to win this championship, he has to beat Warren Stillwell.
Well, there's no question. Keep in mind, as we said, they came in separated by a point, 6 and 7 behind Mumm. There's a 4-point spread between 1st and 2nd in terms of the points you earn for those two positions. So really, this battle here for the lead, 28 and 6, Stillwell and Sharp respectively, whoever finishes in front is going to be the one with the shot at the championship. 61 Funk locking the breakup big time, going into the number 2 hairpin and losing a little bit of ground there. And I almost wonder if there isn't maybe a little of assumed team instruction that Chris will run a little interference here from anybody coming up from 4th or back.
Well, I would thought he wouldn't. Here's Robert Mumm in 10th, number 10 rather. There's the 15 car making ground up now, catching up with, unbelievably catching up with Robert Mumm in the 10. The 10 car of Mumm not having a great day. There's no doubt about it. He's losing ground all the time now to the leaders. He is now 7.5, nearly 8 seconds behind our leader, so he is losing ground.
He's got some problems, as you mentioned, though. Number 15 there, Fleming, damage and all, has moved up now into the 6th spot with Buck in 7th. So Fleming has moved by a couple of cars. Boudinot, number 3 there, who was just a minute ago in 6th, has slipped to 8th.
So Boudinot slipping back. He was having a good run, one of the best runs he's had all year, but he is dropping back. And Robert Mumm is going to slip back into the clutches of that 15 car.
Good look there at number 0, Mike Buck, having a very strong run. And speaking of runs, he got a good run out of that corner on Fleming. And even though this is not a huge track, that bodywork might affect aerodynamics here. And look at that. I think Fleming realized he'd been had and just made sure Buck got through clean.
Well, Fleming didn't want to end up the same way as we just saw a few minutes ago with the 74 car of poor old Peter Frank, who got backed into the wall in a similar situation to that.
Well, Buck made the pass, but he badly overshot the hairpin, and Fleming right back by. Buck right back in position again. Then number 3, Boudinot, 77 Meridian, 55 Moan. They are in a great battle at this stage, and we can see them now coming out up into turn number 7. Now watch what happens here. Again, Buck got a great drive out of 11, David, and just jukes to the inside.
Great draft there off the 15 car. The 15 car gives him plenty of room as they go into this very difficult turn 1, a fast sweeping corner. But then obviously Buck way over brakes, locks up both inside tires. You can see him flailing away with the wheel there, gets right out on the dust and loses at least 1 position, and nearly loses 1 to Boudinot as well. They come up that little right-hand flick.
Well, he did a good job, as you said, to make the save, because he could have lost a lot more positions than that, almost being freight trained, but he tucked right back in, as you can see, behind Fleming, and the battle is rejoined. This time Fleming a little more protective, and Buck looks to the inside again. But I think Fleming has
now going around the outside of Boudinot there too, or trying to. Now he's going to go around the inside. Ooh, bit lucky up there.
Meanwhile, back at the front, 28 Stillwell, you see that margin has all but disappeared.
Ooh, traffic
and
coming.
as you say, traffic going to play a role as well. So apparently Scharf and Funk may be doing just that, working together. And Stillwell going to get blocked here, and Scharf has maybe his best opportunity while they work through this traffic.
Ooh, this is going to be tricky. 21 car in the 02 there. The 21, that's Steve Ladonitsky from Florida.
Oh, Scharf just thought about a move. Now he squares up the inside. Scharf inside. Oh, side by side. There's no way they couldn't have bumped a little bit, but they held it together, and Stillwell emerges in front.
Boy, Stillwell looking over his shoulder there. Stillwell trying to get around this lap traffic giving them absolutely no quarter at all. Scharf just tucked right under Stillwell as they come down to that dangerous position. Scharf burst wide. Is he going to try and make the outside pass down into turn 2?
Well, he's right up along the right shoulder. Trying to square up, maybe come up underneath, and Stillwell covered that very nicely. But Keith Scharf, we were talking earlier about how much aggression. I think we've seen it, no question. These guys are going after it.
They got a lot of laps to go yet. You've got another 16 laps to go, or 14 laps to go, and they're going to get into this traffic thick and fast soon. They're going to have a lot of traffic in front of them before long, which is going to really play a big part in this race. And Stillwell really got away with that. Pretty lucky. I mean, Scharf was right inside him going through that left-hander, and Stillwell came out ahead. I thought he'd lost the lead then. I really did.
Well, I wonder if maybe Scharf didn't see concrete barrier coming up on the inside, decided to back out of it and fight again. 21 laps in the books. We'll be back here at Reno. Once again at Reno, Nevada, you go just a little bit out of town. It is absolutely beautiful. Some just gorgeous scenery in the area. And again, you get in town, especially this weekend. It's big time racing. Reno Grand Prix here at the Reno Hilton. There's your battle for the lead. 28 Stillwell, chased hard by Scharf. There's number 61 Funk. And again, I think, you know, Funk is obviously running there in third, but he's not going to do anything to take Scharf out of this one. And as long as they run like that, they're able to really reel Stillwell back in. Stillwell's hand is up, and we have a full course yellow. Full course yellow, and Stillwell letting everybody know he'd seen it and was backing off, and that apparently at least part of the cause. Number 20, Nikki Ruhlman having a problem, Dave.
Yeah, she spun out there, and I thought she was off the racing line, and I thought they might move the car, but obviously they've decided they're going to have to get the truck out to tow it away. So this is going to give Warren Stillwell a bit of a breather here, but boy, he was on a good roll there. I'm not sure he's going to need it, but it will clear some of the traffic in front of them as it drags the field back together behind the pace car. So that may help the traffic situation a bit.
Now number 17 is John Black, who continues even with a little contact. He's still running in fourth. He may have got away with one earlier, Bobby.
Yeah, and John Black is a nice story in this race, guys, because here's a guy whose best finish this season was a 12th place finish at Heartland Park, and here he is in Reno running in fourth, and maybe with a shot to get himself up there on the podium. That'd be a big feather in the cap of John Black.
Well, he's certainly proving to be a heck of a street fighter. There's no question. I mean, he's had contact, and he's survived that, and he continues to really pressure Funk. So keeping that pressure in there. And there's number 6 Scharf, who we have seen in the last 5 laps preceding this yellow, has really been able to close the gap up and race Stillwell hard, and he did it without traffic. He started to get into it in traffic. Let's check in again with Bob Gerald. Bob?
Well, here's Mark Funk again. Okay, a crucial restart coming up. What's the strategy?
Strategy is just not to let Warren get away. Keith's got to stay on him. Other than that, don't hit anything.
Thank you very much, Mark. Now, you may be wondering why we haven't talked about Warren Stillwell with anyone from his crew. It's because he only brings his mom and dad to the races, and they're nowhere to be found here in pit lane. They watch from a top secret spot.
Well, and obviously they're sending him pretty good vibes because he's been able to hang on at the front. Essentially has led every lap here. There was that one moment when it looked like Sharp may have had something for him and wasn't able to do it. There's 61 Funk, again, an erstwhile, I think, teammate in ways. Were this any other weekend, I think Chris would be doing everything he could to go to the front and win this thing. But right now, he's not a player in the championship, and right in front of him is somebody who's a teammate of sorts, as we said. He's going to watch out for him, I would think, and Stillwell leads. And the problem is, look there, Mum continues to be back in the 5th spot behind number 17 Black, and that essentially takes him out of this championship.
It does take him out of the championship. And the other problem he's got now, he's got that 21 car of Ladonitsky in front of him, which is a lapped car. So when the restart comes, he's going to have to struggle his way around Ladonitsky before he can come to grips with Black. And so it's going to be tough for Robert Mum to try and win this championship. It's slipping away from him somewhat.
Certainly is. 23 laps in the books, working lap 24. Again, we are in the biggest little city in the world with a huge championship on the line. We'll come back for those laps in just a minute. Welcome back once again to Reno, Nevada. And again, we've talked about how beautiful it is in this area. You know, people tend to think it's desert. Not necessarily so. It is some beautiful countryside, and the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton, especially the Spec Racer Fords in their season finale, really couldn't have a much better place to wrap things up. And it is a beautiful day indeed. Perhaps most beautiful for number 28, Warren Stillwell, who essentially has led this thing from the get-go. And every time lately he seems to come under some pressure, he gets a caution flag to sort of calm things down. Of course, there's a risk on restarts as well, David.
And he is 1 point in front of Keith Scharf, who is lying second. Chris Funk there with close third. But Keith Scharf has had a dynamic race, pulling himself up from where a fairly lowly qualifying position on the grid. Stillwell, of course, was on the pole. Dragged himself up to second with some very adventurous driving. And only needs to take that one more position, and he would win this championship by, what, 1 point?
Well, and right now, Stillwell, as we head back to green, started that restart on turn 9. He really rolled into the throttle early, and Sharp, sensing it, went right with him. And you can see the margin now between Sharp and 61 Funk there. The orange and white machine has opened up just a little bit. Funk has some pressure there from Black. There is number 10 Mum. David, you talked about it. He got around that lap car quite quickly, but it still cost him 4 or 5 spots, or I mean, car lengths, perhaps.
Oh, it will do. There's some banging going on there at that turn 2. Sharp now right again with Stillwell. Funk dropped back a bit. Black just behind him in the 17 car. And Robert Mum bringing up the back of the picture there in the 10 car.
But here, really, at this stage, well, okay, I think he was showing him his mirrors just a little bit to get him a little frustrated. Tough to frustrate. Oh, and there's number 21 again, Steve Ladonitsky. It's been a pretty fraught race. And there is 0, Mike Buck, who was running in that battle for 5th with Mum, Buck, Boudinot, and he has come to grief up against the wall.
So that's a bit of a disappointing end for him. He was looking pretty good. Boy, Chris Funk got close to the wall there as he did that weave across from the pit entry to this very fast entry to this long left-hander.
Once again, Stillwell continuing to lead. There is Sharp, and you'd mentioned they are separated by 1 point in the point standings right now. It's a 4-point swing, first to second. And so Sharp has got to come up with a win. And Mum this time is able, at least thus far, David, to stay with Funk and Black. He's not losing any ground.
So Mum has caught up, I think, a little bit now. So now he's up with John Black. And the thing is, of course, it's going to be very difficult to get around John Black. John Black's been driving aggressively all afternoon and fast, so it's going to be difficult for Mum to get around him. And then, of course, he's got to get around Funk. So Mum's work is really cut out for him, and he hasn't got all that many laps left. He's got 9 laps, in fact.
Yep, we have completed 26, working lap 27 of 35. And there's your point leader, Robert Mum. This is as close as he has been to that lead battle. Of course, the yellow's helping, but at one point he was about 8 to 9 seconds back. He's within 3 seconds at this stage. The question is, can he stay there? Looks good so far. Robert Mum, number 10, and working through that turn 7, 8, 9, and 10 complex. And now into 11 go the leaders, 28 Stillwell with Sharp and again 61 Funk, and those 3 drawing away just a little bit. And Keith Sharp is just doing everything he possibly can to stay close. And when he really seemed to be able to take a run at Warren was when they got into traffic. And with these yellows, oh, did I see 61 Funk nudge the barrier there?
Yeah, Funk is running very close to the walls. Keith Sharp there giving him a bit of a jump. Yeah, Funk's getting right with Sharp.
Looking surprisingly racy, obviously.
I don't think Funk will go around Sharp.
Well, at this stage, maybe Chris is just finding he's got to drive that hard to stay with this lead duo, because they are, after all, chasing the championship. And Warren Stillwell is just putting his head down and checking out. Matter of fact, oftentimes quite literally, he really lays his head over as he gets to those corners. And whatever, it seems to be working for him, because he's drawn away by about 3-4 lengths. And
Robert Mumm has caught up with John Black in the 17 car, so the 10 car of Mumm now up with the John Black car, the 17 car. Can he do anything about it? I don't know. It's going to be very difficult for him. These cars are so evenly matched.
Well, once again, as you pointed out, once he gets by Black, then he's got to get by Chris Funk. And I think he would need to get by Funk. He'd need to finish in the top 3 with the other 2 in front of him to really solidify any shot at the championship. I'm not sure fourth is going to help that much at this stage.
No, because he's got a 6-point lead over Stillwell going in, and of course 6 points would separate first to first to third. So
yep. Well, you get 12 points for a 4th place finish, and that's obviously 8 adrift of whoever's going to win this thing. So that's not going to be enough for him. He needs 3rd or better at this stage. And you heard that his crew chief and brother Barry Mumm said they need a 2nd place finish clinches it and erases any doubts. He's got to be 3rd right now with Stillwell and Sharp. And there's 60. I think that's Capaldi. 61 Capaldi. A problem, damage to the right front corner. He is making his way down into pit lane right now, and he had been running up in the the top 10 area for a lot of this one, but problems now, and I think he realizes that they're pretty much terminal. Something's wrong. He's just going to pull over and park.
Ooh, the front wheel has come adrift from the car when he's down in the pit lane, so he should be able to park right off.
Have completed 28 laps, actually coming around to complete lap number 29 of 35, and Stillwell is able, I don't know that he's drawing away much more, but he's certainly at least stabilized that margin back to Sharp. At this point, that margin about almost a full second at this stage, and in this class of car, that's a fairly large amount. Sharp, a lot of lockup, almost lost it, David.
Oh, he did lock up big time there. Chris Funk shows him the outside, but does not press the issue. But that drops him back just a little bit more from Warren Stillwell, and as the laps run down, that's not what he needed.
So Sharp continues to try and find some speed to get to the front of this one, to take a run at Warren Stillwell. The championship is on the line here at the Reno Grand Prix at the Reno Hilton. We will be back.
Back at Reno, Leo Capaldi out of the race, and Leo, obviously some damage here on the right front side. What happened? What caused it?
Well, I was loose coming on the straightaway, and I kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I got to the point I kept dropping back, and I just had to take my chance because I wasn't going to do no good standing back there. So it got loose, and I got into the outside wall.
All right, and so he's out of it. The winner at St. Petersburg early in the season is done.
Well, a tough way to end things after a great start to the season. With Capaldi a fighter, he will be back. And at the front, Stillwell is now indeed drawing away. In the last couple laps alone, he's opened up another half-second lead.
Yeah, Warren Stillwell now really putting the pedal to the metal, and Mumm is right up with Black. But it's not going to be enough. He's going to come up short unless he can. Yeah, he's not quite close enough to get around him. And Black is pulled up with Funk. So this is a terrific battle now for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But Stillwell looks like he's going to take this championship. Obviously, there's a few laps to go yet, and it's never over till it's over, especially in racing. Until you see that checkered flag, don't start counting the dosh, because you never know.
Well, that's true in this entire battle of 4 cars covered by less than a second. And we have 4 laps remaining, and Stillwell, as you point out, looking strong. But again, there is Sharp, then Funk, then 17 Black, then 10 Mumm.
Jimmy Clark lost 2 world championships on the last lap of 2 races, one in South Africa and one in Mexico. Otherwise, he'd have been a 4-time consecutive national world champion. So it ain't over till it's over, but that was a bit more brake locking up there from Keith Sharp as he went into that tight hairpin.
So once again, I mean, Mumm has attached himself to the back of that group. If he can move up into 3rd, he might get the championship. If he moves into 2nd, it's a done deal. He'll get it. But even though he's caught them, he is still 5th.
Boy, but he's got, yeah, I mean, how are you going to get around 6? These 3 cars, they're all dicing furiously for a position. on about letting Mum know. Of course, they could make a mistake. Sharp could clip the wall, take 61 with him. 17 could take avoiding action. Mum could slip through and grab that second spot.
Wow, they're like...
We're at Reno. Let's get out there. Quick, start putting some money down on the table. Hurry.
Well, they're liking your theorizing, I'm guessing, down there.
Money, quick, come here, put it
Change
at once.
Scharf continues right there. There's Mum sitting in 5th, and now we have 3 laps to go. So time running out, and Stillwell running away. He now has the margin over Scharf up to over 2 seconds, David. He maybe just saved a little something. Mum taking a look, feinting to the inside of Black, but he wasn't close enough.
He wasn't close enough really to think that was going to work, but he's taking the wide line around this corner here so he can get a good exit speed. That's what he's looking for there, going in wide like that. But of course, then you've got these quick, right, left, right, and a bit of a run up to the front door of the hotel, and another left. All very difficult places to overtake at. And in fact, he loses a bit of ground through there in spite of coming on there pretty quick.
Well, and again, now we take a look. There's 28 Stillwell. Then there's the margin. Again, as we said, well up almost 2.5 seconds now. Back to Scharf, Funk, Black, and Mum heading into turn 7. One of 2 very snug hairpins here. If you're going to do anything, that's a good place to try it, but he's just not close enough.
Mum's best chance for a third here is if John Black has a bonsai go at the 61 car at Chris Funk. Get them both out of the way for Mum to slip up to, but he'll still be third.
And again, I'm just not sure that's going to do it. Third place points are 14, which is exactly 6 off of what you get for the win. So depending upon who wins this thing, it could be a tie.
Well, Stillwell will have more wins, won't he?
That's true. He's been very strong, and there goes number 10, Mum. He got the run out of turn 11. He's inside Black. He is now 4th. He runs wide on the exit. Black tries to counter. I think Mum's in position.
He's got the right line for the next right-hander. So come on, Robert. Mum, you should have done that 10 laps ago. No good leaving to 1 lap to go.
Well, the problem is, by the time it took to execute that pass over 3 corners, he's lost a lot of ground now to Funk.
That is the trouble with this. When you have these cars which are so closely matched, every passing maneuver takes a long time to work it out. It takes a long time to execute it. And then, of course, when it goes a bit awry like that, you lose a lot of ground. You're going to make it all up again.
And we are at this point with about a lap and a half remaining in this one. So Mum has really got to set sail here. Meanwhile, Scharf's margin behind Stillwell came down a little bit. Now he's only 2 seconds back, but again, with coming up on, I believe, picking up the white flags, 2 seconds is a big margin. Here comes Stillwell out of the final corner, turn 11. Doesn't look like the traffic there held up Scharf too bad. White flag, last lap, and 61 Funk is right there, applying some pressure as well. And the back end of the number 6 Valvoline machine of Scharf steps out just a little bit. No brake lockup this time.
Well, you can be sure that Keith Scharf at this stage is not going to try and throw the whole thing away, because at least he's going to probably assure himself of a 2nd position in this championship, or is he?
Well, I would suspect so.
He's 7 points behind Mum.
And with Mum still in 4th spot, he's really not been able to get too far clear of 17 Black. And traffic again, and Stillwell catches him at a beautiful time, ducks down to the inside into turn 7, half a lap to go, and he will get another championship and regain the championship. Jim Godfrey won it last year. He's not here, so this is an opportunity for Stillwell to grab another one and to add it to the National Amateur Championship he won at the runoffs just a couple weeks back.
Yeah, Warren Stillwell on a tremendous roll in these Spec Racer 4s.
And Stillwell working turn 11 for the last time, completing his 35th and final lap onto the front straight. And Warren Stillwell wins it and takes the championship. We believe they're Scharf in 2nd. A great race. We're going to be back to visit with the top finishers here in Reno right after this.